July 14, 1952. Two veteran airline pilots cruising over Chesapeake Bay report 8 glowing discs flying in disciplined formation at impossible speed. No engine noise. No navigation lights. No official explanation that truly fits. What they described wasn't chaos in the sky. It was intelligent control. On the evening of July 14, 1952, two experienced commercial pilots were flying a Capital Airlines DC-4 southbound along the eastern seaboard. Captain William B. Nash and First Officer William H. Fortenberry were en route from New York to Miami. The aircraft cruised near 8,000 feet in clear summer conditions as it approached the region of Chesapeake Bay. Shortly after 8 p.m., as dusk settled, but visibility remained good, Captain Nash noticed a bright light ahead and slightly below the aircraft's altitude. At first glance, he assumed it was another airplane approaching head-on. The light appeared white to yellowish and steady, not blinking in the manner of standard navigation lights. Within moments, additional lights became visible. What had seemed to be a single oncoming aircraft resolved into a structured formation. Nash later estimated there were 8 objects in total. They appeared circular or disc-shaped and emitted an intense glow from their undersides with a more subdued, darker top profile. The objects approached rapidly from the north. Nash alerted Fortenberry, who independently observed the same formation. Both men had extensive flight experience, including military backgrounds, and were familiar with conventional aircraft lighting patterns. They reported no red or green navigation lights and no audible engine noise. As the formation drew nearer, the pilots observed the objects maneuvering in a tight echelon pattern. The discs were described as having a defined circular outline, with a luminous ring or glow beneath them. The upper portions appeared metallic or darker, silhouetted against the fading light of the evening sky. The objects crossed in front of the DC-4 at an estimated distance of roughly half a mile to a mile. Nash later estimated their speed at several thousand miles per hour, based on how quickly they traversed his field of vision. The formation maintained coherence, moving with precision and apparent control. Fortenberry also noted the disciplined structure of the group. The objects reportedly executed a slight banking maneuver as they passed, maintaining spacing and alignment. Neither pilot observed contrails, propeller wash, or jet exhaust. The sky was clear, and no storm activity was present to account for luminous atmospheric effects. The encounter lasted only a brief interval, variously estimated at 12 to 15 seconds, yet it was sufficient for both pilots to form consistent impressions. Nash described the glow as fiery or bright white, not resembling conventional aircraft lighting. The discs were said to appear solid rather than amorphous. After the objects passed to the southwest, they continued at high speed and disappeared from sight. Nash immediately contacted air traffic control to report what he had seen. Controllers confirmed that no known aircraft were operating in that precise formation or trajectory in the immediate area. Radar data from the period is incomplete, and no definitive radar confirmation tied directly to the sighting has been preserved. However, the report occurred during a month of heightened UFO activity along the East Coast, including other pilot and ground observations later that July, particularly over Washington, D.C. Upon landing, Nash and Fortenberry filed formal reports. Their testimony was considered detailed and internally consistent. Both men stood by their account, publicly and privately. They did not attempt to monetize the experience, and their reputations as professional aviators were generally regarded as solid. The incident was investigated under the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book. Analysts evaluated possible explanations, including meteors, military aircraft, and atmospheric phenomena. Some internal assessments suggested the objects might have been unusual reflections or distant lights misinterpreted under twilight conditions. The meteor explanation was considered but found problematic by some reviewers. The structured formation, apparent controlled banking, and sustained horizontal trajectory were cited as inconsistent with typical meteor behavior. Still, no definitive alternative identification was established by official investigators. Importantly, both pilots maintained that what they observed behaved as controlled craft rather than natural phenomena. They emphasized the uniformity of the disks, their spacing, and their synchronized movement. Their shared military aviation experience lent weight to the credibility of their observational skills. So, this thing became one of those go-to stories for pilots back in the early 50s. It was mentioned in Congress and popped up in talks about UFOs and all that mysterious stuff. And get this sighting happened just days before those famous radar incidents in Washington. It really adds some extra spice to everything, every sighting and UFO experience in the late 40s and early 50s. Unlike many fleeting UFO reports, this case involved two trained observers operating from a stable platform in clear weather. The DC-4 cockpit offered an unobstructed forward view. The pilot's descriptions, recorded soon after landing, showed strong agreement in object count, formation, brightness, and maneuvering. Over time, the case has been revisited by researchers within the broader disclosure community. It is often cited as an example of early, credible pilot testimony preceding modern UAP discussions. Supporters point to the professionalism of the witnesses and the absence of an obvious prosaic explanation. In popular culture, the sighting helped reinforce the image of disc-shaped craft moving in disciplined formations, a motif that became central to 1950s UFO iconography. The idea of glowing discs traveling at extreme speed over American airspace entered news cycles and influenced science fiction aesthetics. 70 years later, the Nash Fortenberry sighting remains a documented aviation encounter without a definitive resolution. Two trained pilots, clear skies, disciplined formation, and a report that never shifted under scrutiny. Whether interpreted as advanced technology, misidentified phenomena, or something beyond conventional frameworks, the consistency of the testimony continues to invite serious consideration rather than dismissal. For many, including those who study these cases closely, the pattern suggests that something structured and intelligently controlled was present in our skies. So, to all the watchers out there, the question is not whether the story endured, it is why. If even a fraction of these encounters are genuine, the implications reshape history itself. Thank you for tuning in to They Are Watching Us. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep watching those skies. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're as into UFOs and all that cool disclosure stuff as I am, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. It really helps me keep the good content coming your way on this super fascinating topic. Seriously, I appreciate it so much. Catch you later.